21st century literature from Philippines and the world of social science. What I have learned in this subject, well, to start, this subject is new to me. Even I knew a little because it's been tackled in high school. Well, to say this, I don't learn much because we all know that students study on their self. In other words, it's a self-study. I don't learn much because there is no teacher who can guide, only a instructional notes given by the subject teacher. But what I like in this subject that I've learned on my own and do the work on my own, thinking what is it? And I just suddenly realized that Philippine history is fun. It's not boring. Yes, that's what I think. I don't want to deny it, but at first I read a subject name and I just said it's boring, no fun at all. And I realized it's fun to know what is past, to tackle others' life, and to know the world. The very best one thing I've learned in this subject is each time one person, country, shines under period of time. Third world geography is a poem what I like very much. It gives me a great lesson. It says that you don't need to kneel, ask and pray while no one hears you. It's useless. It gives me strength to stand and fight what is right, not to kneel and say sentimental words while you are only kneeling the wind and the wind only hears what we said.
Everyone, I am Altea Cruz Ramos talking in front of you. I must say that I didn't learn too much in the subject Socsi 1 or literature because I prefer that someone is going to tell me about the stories. But one thing that I like the most among all is the poem entitled Justice, which is written by Ralph Semeno Calan. I like the poem because there is hidden meaning in each line and symbols which I can relate it in our country's justice system or method. Many people who are rich or wealthy enough abuse the law of justice. They think that they can do all they want using their money and power. They tend to twist the situation in a particular crime wherein the rich who's in wrong side, but because of their wealth, they tend to buy the justice to make the accused or the defendant be the one who's in fault or wrong. That's all. Thank you for listening.
21st century literature from the Philippines and in the world. By its very definition, 21st century literature is still in the act of being created. Nevertheless, 21st century literature is important because it can help us to better understand the world and also help us in the situation in the future. The literature of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, and relearn. Learn in the subject that we must appreciate one's work because it gives contribution to our society and economy. Through this subject, we cannot forget the work of our ancestors that gives us lessons and learnings that open our minds into the realities of the world. We have learned many things using the literatures of famous writers here in the Philippines and the world. They are the writers who do not write just to make their own name in the field of writing, but also to inspire people in their success and share the story of their life. But in all, I love reading articles about martial law because it is one of the most controversial issue here in the Philippines. Through reading history articles, it can answer my questions and kills curiosity.
Hi everyone, my name is Rosemary Berenieu from grade 11 St. James. What I learned in this subject is that I learned to make an essay. It makes me enhance my intellectual skill to read and also my writing. It made me difficult because it is more on article, but still I learned something in this subject like about the situation of the OFW. I salute those Filipino workers because I know it's hard to be away from the family, but they still manage to take some time for their family. The reason they tend to work in the other countries is that the salary in our country is not enough to sustain the basic need of the family. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Cherry Rose Chikinyamu, and I learned that social science is the study of the activities of the physical and social environment. Basically, it is the study of human relations or the scientific study of human society. It deals with the human, their relationship, behavior, development, and resources. They use many kinds of organization they need to carry in their daily life, like workplace, school, family, and government, and etc. It is important because it study helps us to gain knowledge of the society we live. Social science focus of on the relationship among individuals in society. It is these mixtures many subjects like history, sociology, and geography, and more on. Social studies is one area in education where contact and integration are given reading material that corresponding with the current learning topics. Given reading materials and context help students become better readers. They also become better learners because they are asked to use analysis, critical thinking, and writing to show understanding. And that's all. Thank you.
I learned a lot from the subject 21st century literature from the Philippines and the world. From the Philippine literature timeline, the pre-colonial, colonial, and contemporary, and the various literatures of regions that includes a story by Ariel S. Tabag that was a voice tape, and a poem by Cyril F. Bautista that was the Third World Geography. And then the most of my favorite is the Marcos regime. That was the biggest issue happened in the Philippine history. And then the most interesting for me. Before, I did not even know what is martial law. Like, I usually heard about it, but I feel curious why they usually talk about it, especially every month of September, and mostly in the TV news. And I used to ask myself, what is martial law? Now, I learned that martial law is considered as one of the most crucial and horrific period in the Philippine history. President Ferdinand Marcos signed a proclamation or presidential decree number 1081 on September 21, 1972, placing our entire country under the state of martial law. As what I've read and noticed, there are Marcos apologists and anti-Marcos. Well, for me, I agree to anti-Marcos because of this subject. I learned and knew the truth is that Ferdinand Marcos is not a hero as what the Marcos apologists believe, because the truth is he is wicked behind those all goodness, like the Marcos apologists said that in the time of Marcos, some cells are cheap in price. And that's all. Thank you.
Good day, sir. Your question is what I have learned in your subject. I learned a lot in Socsi 1 in always writing an essay and how to analyze the story. And the most, I like reading stories if it is a brief or not, because it feels so nice for me. And my favorite story is the voice tape, because the story tells us Dante and his mother Nanang go back to their old house to get his certificates for being best in math. Dante's friend told him that his uncle intentionally jumped within the running bus. Conflict the death of Uncle Otto and the message inside the voice tape under Uncle's pillow run rampant in the story, and many Filipinos can relate, especially to those who are in the story. Everything that happened in the story can happen to anyone. It gives detailed flashbacks of the life of his Uncle Otto up to the time of his death. And that's all. Thank you.